you want.
The spirit of Muad'Dib is more than words, more than the letter of the law which arises in his name. Muad'Dib must always be that inner outrage against the complacently powerful, against the charlatans and the dogmatic fanatics. It is that inner outrage which must have its say because Muad'Dib taught us one thing above all others, that humans can endure only in a fraternity of social justice. The Fedaykin Compact. Welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. This is Season 3 of our Dune campaign here on the Stolen Fires channel. I am Eric at Modern Recluse Online, your game master for this epic multi-arc adventure series, which continues tonight with our 5th storyline, Leviathan. A very warm welcome and salutation to new and old viewers alike to the Stolen Fires channel here on Twitch, where there's always a Let's Play or an RPG live play to look forward to. As a content warning, this program features adult situations and language and may not be suitable for all ages, so listener discretion is advised. Special music shoutouts go to Pixabay, Infraction, aka Kevin McLeod for Midnight Tale, Repulsive Sound, The Whole Other, Tabletop Audio, and Bleer Moon for the use of their excellent music. You can find more awesome ambient sounds and tunes over at inaudio.org, secretpress.bandcamp.com, music.youtube.com, pixabay.com/music, and SoundCloud. Many thanks to Modifius Entertainment for making awesome games like DUNE Adventures in the Imperium for us to play. We'll also want to thank Roll20 for their use of their virtual tabletop, which is perfect for hosting games just like this. And as always, we want to give a big thanks to our viewers and fans for tuning in. Our house entourage is here and ready to engage in the deadliest of intrigues. Agents of the Imperium, remind our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Beginning with Leo.
Hello, and my name is @Leo of the Black. You can find me here on Twitch, doing all sorts of things and playing video games. So next time you can find me, well, sometimes I stream on Sundays, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, today I'll be playing Archibald. Wow, I can't talk today. Librius.
Archibald Librius, correct. Aaron.
Hello, everyone. I am Aaron. You can find me my pronouns are anything but he, him. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Greg Cthulhu. Tonight, I'll be playing Eloise Cheshire, whose pronouns are she, her.
Devin.
Hello, all. I am Devin. You can find me online at Sort of Sullied. It is somewhere since something's going away. But tonight I am playing Reverend Mother Norma.
Ambrose.
Hey everybody, I'm Ambrose. My pronouns are he or they. You can find me all over the internet as AmChangeling, but on the server I am AmSpiceling. You can find me on Etsy at Thornkind, and you can find me tonight playing Zoshir Tamer, whose pronouns are he, him.
He.
Hello, I am Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at Pardot Reed, as long as I don't find you first. And tonight, I am Pardot Reed.
And last but certainly not least, Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel. You can find me, Stolen Fires, pretty much everywhere on the internet. Currently here, currently on Instagram, currently on Twitter, but who knows how that will change in the future. Playing head of House Daphne Cheshire.
Excellent. All right. Let's start with a short recap of the previous session, if you would be so kind, Ambrose.
Absolutely. Some time has passed since General Archibald met with Baron Harkonnen. Now Omelas arrives, bowing deeply and greeting him as the steward of Jabberwock. In a private conversation, Omelas whispers his doubts about Lady Yeva, but says he's quite happy to work for a military mind and offers his aid at the upcoming Landsraad. As for that, Archibald plans to tell the truth, which Omelas agrees with. but he also suggests omitting certain details relating to Pardot Reed and his possible heresy. Maybe keep these from Yeva as well. Archibald agrees, for now. He then hands Omelas a letter asking him to deliver it to the Atreides. As he knows what will happen soon regarding Arrakis, he desires an audience with the house. Omelas agrees and leaves immediately to begin preparations. As he leaves, Yeva arrives and demands to know what Archibald is up to. He carefully studies her, looking for signs of betrayal. Watch out for that knife behind her back. He sees none, but only hints of his own plans. Whatever they are, they're bigger than Arrakis. At the Landsraad, Archibald recognizes Head Counsel Rigello? Did I say that right? Maybe. And another counselor named Thessel. And of course, Emperor Shaddam Ivi-Corrino. Oh, and Alicia Cheshire, being dragged away after giving her own testimony. Archibald is asked to begin testifying as to what happened the day of the war. Where was he? Where was everyone else? Archibald clearly lays the blame at the feet of House of Cardis. As he should. They're the ones who framed him for fratricide. But how did House Carroll acquire the Cheshire atomics and codes to begin with? Faced answers he answers with thinking machines. Name of my new band. One final question. How does a man go from landless prisoner to steward of Jabberwock and head of his own house in less than a year? Those are questions, he says, for Daphne or Alicia. Omelas seems pleased with his performance and says he has completed the task Archibald asked of him. The Atreides will meet within the week. A few hours later, the Landsraad delivers their judgment. Houses Librius and Cheshire are absolved of responsibility regarding the use of atomics. They were justified in using them defensively. However, they have more questions, though the award of Cardis and Drunenbar assets to Cheshire, while Snack and Yeva's assets belong to Librius. Back on Arrakis, Kyra looks on them, her heart breaking. She had visions of this meeting, and Adelaide was in some of them. But she is not here. Kyra knows what must have happened. She asks after Alicia, and all Daphne has to say in a grieving tone. The Landsraad have her now. To understand what must have happened. Kyra and Mossam embrace after too long apart, Kyra reassuring her son that his visions of her death were just dreams and not true visions. Kyra explains how she used the voice to evade the Sardaukar, eventually coming here to connect with other Bene Gesserit and foment a schism over the problem of face dancers in the Sisterhood. A few rogue face dancers helped her build her power base here. But to what end? Asks Daphne. Kyra reveals her goal only in strictest privacy, to destabilize the Imperium by ceasing the flow of spice out of Arrakis. Daphne's horrified. She understands immediately what sort of crisis this would create. This is a moment of possibility, and Kyra says she knows of a middle ground. The goal was never to put Mossam on the Imperial throne. It was this. At the polls, Amira, Tiberius, Zoshir, and Herdy follow Nalia's trail into the storm. Using his knowledge of the desert, Zoshir understands flying straight through is the best path forward. But the flight is turbulent. He rides sandworms, not ornithopters. But Amira is of the guild, and pilots the thopter to rocky ground with only some minimal damage to the landing gear. After a scuffle to see who can exit first, they emerge to see a tied-up Nelia. Hurdy moves to free Nelia, but realizes too late this whole thing is a trap as Mala pistols begin firing. Tiberius is winged as he drives for cover, and Amira is backhanded away, but Zoshir eviscerates the femoral artery of his opponent. Another one then starts blasting while his friend bolts for one of the Thopters. Zoshir's Fremen reflexes take over as he murders another thief, and Tiberius pursues the mustached man, carrying a case with the spice bribe. He jumps into a Thopter, intending to flee. Zoshir runs to his own Thopter, urged to leave now by an injured Nelia with Hurdy. With Eloise's help, they maneuver the Thopter to a firing position and shoot. It's a direct hit, but that's when the landing gear malfunctions again. The Thopter does a barrel roll and lands hard as sand begins piling in. Zoshir hears a rumbling only a Fremen would recognize. They struggle to free themselves from the Thopter as Zoshir throws his thumper as far away as possible. He also sees where the thief is going, and he's a worm rider. When Shai Hulud arrives, Zoshir leaps atop him, sinking his maker hooks into the worm and steering it to crush the thief without damaging the spice. Blood sprays across the sand and the spice bribe skitters away. Having what he came for, Zoshir releases Shai Hulud back into the desert. He does not recognize the man, who bears another badge he does not recognize. But Tiberius does. It's House of Cardis. This was a member of the Regis Familia. Back in Arakeen, Eloise receives a message from Pardot at the Guild Embassy. Harkonnen troops are on their way to investigate the location of the battle with the exploding Thopters. Pardot has been invited to join. Eloise reports this directly to Hina, her supervisor. She risks exposure by spinning a story of a plot against the Guild to persuade Hina to use Guild authority to lock the site down. Eloise, however, must go investigate personally. While she does this, Kyra reveals her trove of melange, weapons, drugs, water, and any number of valuables she's been accruing. Awesome is scandalized, accusing Kyra of being just as manipulative as any other Bene Gesserit. In response, Kyra shares her memories and visions with Norma. Norma sees a burning banner bearing a hawk, chanting in the background of Muad'Dib, Muad'Dib. The chant grows to the point it's deafening. There are explosions and fire and the destruction of cities, killing billions. But then there's another way. Machines, hunter-seekers by the swarm, destroying humanity throughout the Imperium and extinguishing them completely. But then there's a transformation on Arrakis, a human and a worm becoming one and giving birth to a tyrant. His face changes depending on the path taken, but they all lead to the same place. Krylosek, the end of all things and humanity. There's hope. A narrow path which circumvents these events. There is a God King. There is a jihad. And the Empire is changed forever. The visions overwhelm Norma. She sinks to the ground, blood dripping from her nose. Daphne gives a shriek and tends to Norma. Mossam asks his mother what's wrong, and Kyra says, Arrakis is a crucible for all of DUNE.
Thank you for reading that, Ambrose, and thank you as always, Rachel, for taking excellent notes. Now we shall continue with our storyline, Leviathan. All right, so we previously left Daphne, Masum, and Norma with Kyra, you had quite a long day, quite a long time traveling from Arakeen and the Shield Wall to a place that they Fremen there called Sihaya Tabir, along something that is referred to as the Sihaya Ridge. And it is there that she received you and she laid out her plan for the future, for humanity. You're all quite exhausted after this entire harrowing event, the kidnapping and the Harkonnens arriving and everything. So even after she received you and introduced you to the Fremen there and the Sayadina that brought you in, she respectfully asked that you be left alone for a quiet meal. They bring in plates of that have little pieces of meat that are wrapped in leaves. Give it a specific flavor. They bring some liter johns of water because you're honored guests in the Sietch. They obviously revere Kyra as someone, at the very least, at the same level as a Sayadina. Although, with your hyper awareness, Daphne, you see some of the Fremen servants that come and bring food to you, Masum, Norma, and Kyra, referred to as Naib. She is the head of this Sietch. And Masum asks quietly what that word means. And she very tenuously answers by saying, it means it's someone that they look to for guidance. Just like a Sayadina in this case. And you see, she's like, I hope that you'll spend some time here, as it's been quite a long time since I've seen any of you. You're welcome to stay, of course, as long as you like, but I understand if your responsibility, she says, and looks to Daphne when she says this, will take you back to the city, back to Arakeen, and your sworn duties to your house. And then, of course, there are others among you here, and she looks at Norma when she says this, that owe the entirety of who they are to an organization. I wish to speak with you, sister, in private, perhaps after supper.
Wish.
Daphne, I wish I could have raised you as Adeline did. I missed your entire upbringing. With Masum, it was the opposite. I watched him grow and my feelings became mixed from the time that I spent on Ishia. As you're already aware, the Emperor forced me to live there and threatened blackmail in order for us to engage in this secret marriage he wished. Shaddam is a man who is obsessed with his legacy. He wants to perpetuate his power long after he's dead. But the Bene Gesserit woman that he was with never gave him a male heir. Shaddam has only daughters, and as such, his pride does not allow him to bequeath his title, his house, to a woman. That is precisely the reason why he and his friend the Count sought me out. And although I regret having gone along with this, I do not regret the love that I have for my son. She looks over to Masum. And she squeezes his hand, for emphasis. Masum just kind of wipes a tear, puffs out his chest a little bit to seem like he's stronger than he is in this moment, and continues to eat the the boiled animal pieces, that birds probably that they wrapped up in these like flavored leaves. Do you respond to anything that she's saying, Daphne?
Uh, Daphne is incredibly thoughtful, just everything that she's learned. So she's sort of taking it in what Kyra says, sort of, I wish I could have been there to help raise you. I wish I wish you could have been there too. I think I I don't want to sound ungrateful or that I didn't love my mother, but I think you probably brought out the best in her. And that's a part of her I don't think I ever really got to see.
She smiles. I certainly hope that's the case. I trust that Adeline, being such a wonderful human being to me, that she raised you and your sister in the best way that she could. She was dealt a bad hand, such as I was. Imperial politics being what it is, it's one of the reasons why I want to try to change things permanently, if possible.
I think, for better or worse, she raised me to be her heir. And that meant that there were a lot of things that she couldn't do and other things that she had to. She was strict and harsh, but I understand now what she was trying to teach me.
All difficult lessons to learn, I would imagine.
I'll stay
Well,
here for as long as I can. But I can't stay away too long, and I should probably actually send a message to my house letting them know I'm safe.
with all due caution, she says. Because remember, the Emperor is not just a very proud man, he's a very paranoid man as well. And if he realizes that his secret heir is missing for too long, his agents will undoubtedly come looking for him.
Oh, I'll simply let them know that negotiations with the Fremen are going well.
She smiles at that. It's like, well, excuse me for a moment, my son, Daphne. And she says, and she grabs both of your hands, and she looks over to you, Norma. And just makes this like motion, like, I need to talk to you privately here. She gets up, excuses herself, and walks through the curtain. She seems to be heading down this twisting tunnel that goes down, and the part of the, as you follow, you feel moisture hit your assault your senses as you keep going down. You hear the sloshing of water as you keep going down as well. And then and she enters this chamber. There's a glow globe that just kind of comes on and follows you. And as it illuminates, you see a wide expanse, like a cistern full of water. Wind trap, she says, and gestures. We use it mainly at night. Captures the moisture from the air and collects here in this basin. There are thousands of such caches on Arrakis like this. It's part of the dream to change this planet. It's but one step in my plan to change the Imperium, to stop the spice flow.
How do you plan on doing that? By making an oasis of the desert?
Well, no. We plan to stop the spice flow by stopping whoever's in charge of the fief on Arrakis, whoever it may be, if it's the Harkonnens or somebody else. You understand the sacrifice that will be required for this, don't you?
Do. Hopefully we might be able to shift some of that burden.
Indeed.
I don't think Daphne is at all aware, and so what she says is, wouldn't increasing Arrakis' agricultural capability make it more valuable?
specifically.
Wait, did you come along with?
Weren't we all brought?
This is a private conversation.
Oh!
She just wants to have.
I'm so sorry. I thought she took all three of us by the hand and led them away. Okay,
All
retcon.
three of you in
No.
one hand. Yes.
I was a little confused on that, but I'm like, okay, she's taking me and Masum by the hand, and okay.
Oh no! I
Retcon.
apologize. I should have
Uh,
She just leaned forward, grabbed your hands, and said, "I'll be right." Excuse me.
Okay, Daphne is checking in with
Now
Masum
I-
then.
Now I have to
I'm
do
so sorry,
secret
carry
gruesome
on.
Stuff.
She looks to you, Norma, and she's like, "Although I am at the center of all of this, I am not the fulcrum that the Sisterhood believed me to be. Kwisatz Haderach. It's everyone else that's important. In order for change of this magnitude to occur, you are part of that fulcrum, Norma, because it is you who I've seen in these visions. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now you realize, in this moment, she's kind of blowing your mind. She shared with you, not everything, which is highly unusual. When the Bene Gesserit Reverend Mothers share their memories with one another, it's not like, oh, drip, 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 here you go. No, you get the full deluge, right? You get all the memories. She could have given you all of her memories as well, including those on the male side, which could have driven you insane. However, she has a particularly unique ability afforded to her in which she can impart any amount of her memories or her visions in this particular case as she wants to. So for you, she actually gave you the knowledge that she's seen with her visions, with her prescient view. At least so much that it wouldn't drive you insane as a result. But she also shared some very secret information about how she's building a power base on Arrakis. And you're like, why does she do that? She doesn't know you. She shouldn't trust you, despite your previous history on Ishia, where you helped her escape and with Masum and everything. It's highly unusual for somebody like Kyra to trust anyone else that's part of the Sisterhood, but she trusts you specifically. So when she says that you're part of that fulcrum, like, she knows that at some point that this information that she's imparting upon you is critical to what she needs to accomplish. How do you react to that?
I understand that I might assist in this, but I never would have expected that I would be a centerpiece.
Do not doubt your own purpose, Norma. Everyone has a part to play in this, regardless of however small or large it is.
What do you see me to do?
Many things. I've seen you perish at the hands of the Harkonnens after a failed mission to Gidi Prime. I've seen you perish in the desert, or die aboard a Highlander that exploded. Too many visions. It doesn't matter. We determine our own destiny. And you shall determine yours as well. That is why I need you to choose, to make the choice now, to support this vision or to back the Sisterhood.
I spit in my hand and reach out to her.
I see. Okay. She shakes on it. You honor the people of the Sietch with such a gesture.
I honor the future that we will create.
And it is agreed, and I think you already know what it is that you have to do. Get some rest. You have a long ride back to Arakeen. Well, that actually leads you back up to the chamber above. Is there anything you want to do while you're still here, within the remaining evening or in the oncoming days, Daphne? You can stay as long as you like, but she's like, careful.
Yeah, so Daphne will send a message back to the palace, the compound. We've cleared up the misunderstanding and negotiations with the Fremen are going well. Be back soon. And she wants to get Masum's opinion on all of this, what it all means, what he wants to do.
What Masum wants to do? He seems torn with the decision to stay or to leave. He just met his mother again after all this time, and now he has to take cautions when it comes to dealing with the Emperor, somebody who he's never known, who's never raised him, but is his father. But he also seems troubled in general especially after Kyra revealed to you both what she intends to do here on Arrakis.
Well, we have the circumstances that we are born into, and I can no more stop being my mother's daughter than you can stop being your father's son. And I know you said a few days ago that all you wanted was to be Kyra's son. I understand what you mean, but you're going to be a man in just a few years. You have a lot of options.
Do I?
You have some. Some might require defying your father.
That sounds dangerous.
It is. But he's just a man, and men can be tricked.
I don't know what to do, Daphne.
Neither do I. What Kyra says, I have to take it on faith that she believes she's doing the right thing, and then that it is the right thing, and that this is the only way to avoid galactic genocide. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, his head's kind of spinning. He's like, I want to stay. Am I wrong to want that?
No. I wish I could stay too.
We should leave in the morning.
Did he say you or we?
I think we should leave in the morning, is what he says.
Alright. Let's go have one last dinner with Kyra. I'm fairly certain you're gonna see her again soon.
I hope so. He goes, back in the room with you. You sit down, and you have the rest of the evening as after Kyra and Norma come back in
Yeah,
from behind the curtain.
I do want to say one more thing to him.
Oh, sure.
Whatever is going to happen, we'll face it together. I promise.
Promise. You have a quiet rest of the evening, dinner together. They have the hallways that break out of that main chamber into different areas of the Sietch, and they bring you all into like your own quarters where you can stay at. There are Fremen walking back and forth through here all the time. There was a group that was just leaving as you were arriving, so it's a pretty big place. They sit you down on a bed made out of spice-weaved fibers, so there's like this cinnamony smell everywhere. There's also bitterness here because like everybody wears a still suit, so like everybody's like like drenched in sweat and they have to take them off and wipe themselves down and then like go to bed. But you as you settle in for the evening, you imagine that if you lived here for enough time, it would become a home, a second home perhaps. But this could be that place, both for you and for Masen. Or it could not. That, of course, is entirely up to you.
I think
in the morning. Oh, sorry.
Before they leave, Daphne's gonna search out Norma.
Excellent. Do you wait until the morning to do so?
I mean, if there's time in the evening, then she'd go find Norma in the evening.
There's always people up and about in the evening. From what you can tell, the Fremen actually are more active in the nighttime. If you recall, you arrived when it was dark, and that's when a group of Fremen were leaving. It seems that that's how they move secretly throughout Arrakis without, anyone being the wiser. So yeah, you can get up and walk out over to Norma's quarters down the hallway.
Yeah, I'll go to where Norma is and then knock on her door.
No door, it's just like a curtain, but yeah.
Oh, well then, it's me. Are you busy?
I have time for you.
Walk in, take whatever seat looks available. If not, just sort of lean against the wall.
Always on the floor. There's always like carpets and cushions and stuff like that on the floor.
All right, takes a cushion. You were always a good advisor to Adelaide.
Thank you.
And I wonder, what would you advise me to do?
Do you want what I would tell you to do, or what you would tell you to do?
I know what I would tell myself to do. What's the best thing for this house, my family, this planet, Jabberwock, the Imperium?
I can't tell you what the best thing is. I can tell you that Kyra's plan is to better humanity, even at their own detriment. If you follow along, you might not make it to the end, but it's an end worth having.
I see. So are you working with her now?
In such a fashion.
Do I factor into any of these plans of yours?
There were our plans, there might still be. But I take your hand. You have grown. You might need to take some considerations into your own hands.
I see. Well, I won't abdicate today. But keep me in the loop.
As always, Duchess. Daphne.
Thank you.
Good. So you take some time to rest the rest of the evening away. In the morning, there's coffee service, with some spice, of course. There's a congregation towards the entrance of the Sietch, large chamber. Lots of people milling about, young and old alike. They were the same people that you saw leaving last night, coming in now at the break of dawn. They also smell of melange as they bring in something. They bring in some cargo. It looks like, perhaps, you're not sure, but they make some quick meals for you, and impart some spiced coffee for the majority of you for your trip. The Sayadina comes back in to walk you to the Ornithopter, but she won't be joining you on this trip because she knows that the Harkonnens will be looking for you, and if they find a Fremen in your company, they are likely to die or be captured at the very least, which may arguably be worse under their conditions. It's a heartfelt goodbye with Kyra present. She turns to each of you before you depart in the Thopter, as the Fremen technicians are, gassing it up and getting it ready. She's like, it feels like Ishia all over again. I feel like I've just met you and you're already departing.
This
But this
time,
isn't the end, is it?
I don't think it's the end. This time there's only half a planet between us.
I don't know if she ever told you. In fact, I'm almost certain that she did, but I am positive that Adeline was proud of her daughter. And she gives you an embrace. Masim, don't change. Don't let this world, this Imperium, change who you are. You are unique. You are something unexpected. Remember that, she says. She hugs him close. He can't help but just, sob as he's leaving his mother. But this family of yours is stronger than all of those things, and they will protect you. I know it. Will you come back to me? She's like, yes, mother, yes. Chris turns to Norma now. I know that she loved you after I was gone. Even though I never made contact with her, I know this to be true. I don't know if she ever told you, but Adeline was like that. I want you to protect them the same way that you protected her. They are your family now. Do you understand me? There is no more sisterhood. There's just us.
Very well.
Go with caution. And she bids you farewell. You board the Thopter, and as the sun rises and crests over the hills and mountains nearby, your Thopter starts heading towards Arakim once again. And now we'll shift to Zoshir, Tiberius, and Amira. So, you two were completely exhausted after the harrowing events that took place and the chase that occurred when you tried to find the people responsible for stealing the spice bribe that was intended for the guild. You found the perpetrator. You found the people that were responsible. And at least for Tiberius, you couldn't believe your eyes. This was one of the 2 sons of Cardus house, the secret enemy of House Cheshire, the ones who had pitted them against House Carroll to begin with. You don't know how the Regis Familia back in Arakeen will take these news once they're found, of course, but you accomplished your mission. But after the events that had occurred, your ornithopter was destroyed in the crash, unsalvageable. And so here you are, at night, in the deep desert, near the southern polar caps, near what appear to be a series of extinct volcanoes due west of where you're at. Zoshir, I need you to roll and understand, please. I need you to get at least 2 successes. This is a very important roll, by the way. So if it links with something that has a statement on it, it means that you can spend a point of determination to succeed, potentially. Anyone here with desert or Fremen knowledge can also assist. If you don't have that, you probably cannot help.
I do, in fact, have desert navigation.
This is good. I will allow that for this, yes.
Sweet. Okay, so spending a determination. Does that give me 3 dice or just an auto success?
If you spend a point of determination, it gives you 2 successes because it's like one of your dice rolled a 1 automatically.
Oh, okay. Using focus, yes. And I used.
Oh,
nice.
Wow. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, and you spent a point of determination?
Indeed.
Wow. Okay. All right,
I probably shouldn't have done that.
No, you're good. 3, 4, 5. Wow. Okay, so you get 3 momentum back from that. Amazing. So you went from 1 to 4 momentum currently. Very well done. All right, so this is kind of a really bad situation for anyone, Fremen or not. You are in the middle of the desert at night when it's freezing, and your ride has been destroyed. But you're a Fremen. This is your territory, and you happen to know that there are sieges everywhere, including where you left Nalia and Hurdy, and at those extinct volcanoes. And you're like, I know of a siege there that you can seek out. Whether they'll be able to help you or not is a whole nother matter. What do you do?
Well, I hope they'll understand our situation.
Ouch.
I'm gonna give them a shot. You know, shelter is very important, and the deserts get just as cold as they do hot.
This is true. Here's the difficult part, though. Unless you're gonna risk summoning another worm, this in the deep desert where they tend to be very large, for your outframe friends, they're gonna have to learn to walk without rhythm, which means you're gonna have to show them.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna attempt to teach them how to walk without rhythm.
For you, it's easy. It's a move difficulty 2. For the rest of you, you need to make an understand difficulty 2.
Use the momentum that I just built.
Otherwise, over time, if you continue, arouse the
Uh,
ire of the worm.
Ambrose, don't you have a move-related talent?
I do. That is subtle step. Yeah, that won't really help anyone else.
Yeah, but will it help you?
When you attempt a move test to sneak or otherwise pass unseen through an area, that would count.
This
I would
that
think.
that works. That exactly fits this scenario. Yes.
Okay. First extra d20 I purchased for the test is free.
Very good. So you can roll 3 dice without having to spend any momentum, and you still got 4 more.
Okay, so that is a move. And they're not exactly my Sietch. I'm going to use Faith because of my statement being Arrakis is sacred. Shai-Hulud is the most sacred of all things. Okay. Using focus, yes. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh my.
Ooh.
Oh,
This isn't a terribly dangerous situation currently. However, you needed 2 successes.
Shit.
Did you? Which statement did you use? Which drive?
Faith.
Faith. And do you have a statement with faith?
Yes. Arrakis is sacred. Shai-Hulud is the most sacred of all things.
Very fitting. Do you have another determination point available?
I only had the one starting one. I'll trade you
Oh, that's too
advancement points.
Would you
Threat.
like to spend
Take
some
threat.
threats?
Take the threat.
Yes, please. Threaten me.
Okay. Threats it is. Okay, so I'm gonna require 3 from you, so that
A
you
lot
can
of
get that
threat, man.
determination point.
But yay, I get an advancement point.
Yeah, a determination. Well, yes, you do. You get not really. You're giving me threat in exchange for a determination point that you can
Darn.
spend now and get 2 extra successes.
Yeah. See, I knew I spent it too early. Dang it.
Everything's fine. No problems.
oh, you
All
don't.
right, so Tiberius, Amira, you're seeing this Fremen warrior walk very strangely. There's a stride, a sudden step, a pause, and a shuffle, and another step, and stride. They stop, and then they continue on. It's almost like a dance as he's moving through the desert at night. Kind of hard to see, but they're not walking normally. They're staggering the way that they proceed. Give me an understand roll difficulty 2 for both of you.
How much momentum do we have?
You have 5 currently. If there was ever a time to learn how to walk without rhythm, this is the time to use momentum, perhaps.
Yes. I would like to take 3 of that, please, because my understand is. Well, sorry, Amira's understand is not great.
Haha. Okay. That leaves 2 momentum available for Tiberius. If you want to spend at least, you can spend 1 of them and get 1 extra die to roll for your understand.
I think I will.
Do they get to permanently have the walk without rhythm after this, or is it just temporary?
Yes.
Oh,
Right. So
sweet.
normally they wouldn't be able to do it, but if they make the understand roll, then they can make the move check, and then they can proceed as normal. They do as you do. They move as you do. They move as you move.
Alright, I think I'll use power for this. Faith feels weird.
If it's selfish, self-preservation, that fits.
Fully,
actually.
yeah, fully self-preservation, yeah.
No, that's fine. Perfect. Go ahead and roll.
4 dice. No focus.
Fucking A. What is with the 17s? this
Apparently
evening?
it's 17s tonight. That's what we're doing.
2 successes. Okay, that's good, Tiberius. And 2 successes for you as well, Amiro. Wow. Okay, so you rocked it. You see Zoshir, and something tells you to watch what they're doing and just, do as they do. And sure enough, no worm sign anywhere on the horizon. The Coriolis storm that you're trudging through is sending sand right into your faces. It feels like you're being assaulted by a billion different little tiny shards of glass. And you see why now the Fremen dress the way that they do in the desert, even at night. You see Zoshir has like a mask that kind of covers his mouth, and it has like a undersuit that kind of covers most of the body, leaving just the eyes visible, and then the Jubba cloak that comes overhead and kind of like acts as a way to part the sand that's coming and blowing in their faces. You act accordingly, and you take whatever garments you have, Amira, and just kind of cover your face more, and to keep some visibility of one another, so you don't get lost out here. This is a bad place to die. Same as for you, Tiberius. You've lost your entire troop of about 5 men with the conflicts that you had with the Harkonnens back on the shield wall, and the one remaining one that died back at the extinct volcanoes against the Ofcardus twin and his goon squad. So eventually you do manage to walk your way through this desert, this expanse of sand. I'm going to mark it from here to here. It takes the better part of the evening until sunrise for you to get to where you need to go. But as you make your way there, you all gain a condition, however. You are injured because of the crash from the Ornithopter and from going through the Coriolis storm at night on Arrakis. So go ahead and if you look on your character sheet towards the bottom, there's something that says conditions. Go ahead and add one and just write injured. You can, if there's a description, you can put in Thopter crash, Coriolis storm, etc. What this basically means is that from now on, until you're able to recuperate and rest fully, any physical actions will be that much more difficult because of this. By a factor of 2, I'm gonna say. So after this, your characters are gonna need a lot of rest and recuperation time. Eventually, you make it up the rocks, and you don't know this territory intimately, Zoshir, but you do know how the Fremen operate. I mean, you're coming in off of the rocks while it's still dark out. You scan the tops of the rocky crags for signs of movement, and sure enough, you see something. Someone saw you moving out there in the sands, even in this pitch black light. And you see what seems to be the slightest hint of a glimmer of light reflecting off of a piece of glass. Someone is attempting to communicate to see if you know the correct response.
Oh
do you
dear.
signal back, or do you try to hide?
Do I recognize what they're signaling?
Yeah, they're basically wanting to know if they ought to kill you or not the moment you step onto the rock. This is the Fremen. So, and they don't know that you're Fremen. So they're like, do you know the code?
I will attempt to do the code.
Okay. This is a pretty easy understand roll for you specifically, but go ahead and roll. And you can, of course, spend that last momentum if you wish.
It's worth it to not be summarily shot.
Yeah.
I
so
mean,
maybe
the
let's not.
consequences, of course, would be, oh, they don't know the code. Cool, let them come in.
Yeah, especially after we were just told that all physical actions are 2 more difficult now.
Oh, okay. I will do this thing.
Do the thing.
Hopefully you
I-
do it right.
This is not a desert
You got
navigation
this.
focus,
No.
so no focus there.
No.
Oh, thank fuck.
That's a really
Nice.
good roll.
Successes.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. Jesus.
All right, that's excellent. So I'm gonna net you 1 momentum, and you take out a. I'm gonna say that the milky white blade of your crysknife is sufficient to like reflect the light back, but you know that you have to draw blood now that you've drawn the blade. So I'm guessing like you just like
I
run it
would've-
on somebody or yourself.
Amira, come here. Come here,
No, I
Amira.
was literally about to say that. You read my mind. No, he's gonna definitely use his own blood. There's
For
no need.
for the cinematic feel for it, you know, you message back. They message once to signify that okay, you're allowed up, and you find the path that leads up to their siege. Hurdy and Nayla are already there. You see that they've used the time that you spent like traveling throughout the night to recuperate and move around to find the siege themselves. So they're actually kind of happy to see you upon approach. There are Fremen guards there, of course, completely garbed, you know, for head to toe for desert wear. The Coriolis storm still roiling outside, so they usher you in first before they check you out. You still have your crysknife out, and when you take off and doff your duds, you're met with some of the Fremen of this siege of Ergson Simine. I'll get you the name real quick here, Rachel. 1 second. You've discovered a new siege for yourselves you can add to the map. You are met by someone who identifies themselves as Jubar and Saphras. One of them has a weird charm looking thing hanging from their neck, but they're all armed with bala pistols, and when they see that you're Fremen and that you know the code and stuff like that, they're like okay, and you take off your gloves and you just kind of draw a line of blood across your hand and show them, like okay, and they bring like a pad to soak it up the moisture. I'm like, come in, brother. Welcome to the siege. What brought you to these parts? You look to the outframe among you, Amira and Tiberius. And who are these outsiders that come with you?
They've assisted me in retrieving the spice bribe that was stolen. They proved themselves worthy on the sands.
We've heard news of this. You see Hurdy and Nayla, who's still just kind of banged up, is resting, recuperating, but Nayla's like, yeah, they helped us. They helped us. And she jumping up, pointing at Tiberius. Especially this one, she was fearless, and points to Amira. May I have your names? Outframe. They look from one to the other.
You may call me Amira, and then she'll reach into like her top and pull out the guild signet that she rarely shows.
There's a little bit of a murmur when you do that, like guild. Oh shit. What do you say, Tiberius?
Tiberius very simply states, I am Tiberius.
Do
And
you
says
also work
nothing
for
else
the
about
guild,
who I am.
Tiberius?
I do not work for the guild.
They look a little confused and look to Zoshir. Shall we take his water then?
No. He is with the house that was framed. for stealing the spice bribe. He was only bringing honor back to his house.
These imperial politics intruding into our lives still.
I don't foresee
Very
a day
well.
that we'll ever be rid of them.
Perhaps soon. It's like it is. Storm is likely to pass within the 24 hours. Stay and immerse yourselves. And, like they point you to like this chamber where there's a whole host of Fremen here. They're all inside and they're all feasting because of the outside. Nobody's going out in that shit. So they welcome you in, and everyone looks at you two like, oh, fuck you, like, you know, like you obviously don't belong here. But because Zoshir has literally bled, shed moisture, and has vouched for you, you are allowed to stay and not go to the death stills. Especially for the high crime of seeing a crysknife and being alive. Very rare honor that they're affording you. You sit down around what seems to be a very large circular communal chamber with glow globes that are lit by insects that live inside, and they sort of pick them up and rattle them. It glows, comes to life. They arrange them in such a way that the young children of the Sietch can be surrounded by them, and they sort of like play with these little tiny toys at the center of the room, while the rest of the adults kind of lay back and talk about the news of the day or what have you. Is there anything that you want to do in this particular situation, or are you just kind of like, I am shutting the fuck up, I'm not doing anything? This question goes, of course, to Amira and Tiberius.
Tiberius is taking a very low-profile approach. Shush. Say nothing.
He wears a mask, so like, you're obviously very mysterious, and people are like, "Who is this guy?" Just curious if you wanted to be like, "Hey, look at me now," or whatever, or you just wanted to keep it on, like, "Nope, not revealing myself at all."
The mask stays on. We do not speak unless spoken to.
I think.
Quiet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think Amir is not shy, but also not the schmoozer type. So she'll engage, but not like over much.
Sure. You're kind of surprised, Amira, when some of the Fremen that you met at the door after like about an hour or so come to find you and Zoshir and like, you're coming with us, please.
Very well.
You don't fight them. They're like, okay, sure. You get up, you walk it. You're all like just dead exhausted on your feet, but they walk you over to
random smugglers are different than a siege of Fremen. She's not gonna try and murder everyone here.
True. They bring you two and Hurdy to a large chamber, which you recognize as a Naib's chambers. Zoshir. Explain to you who this guy is. Okay. You're met with like an older man who has a bit of an unusual hairstyle. But they introduce him as Maynard, who is the Naib here for Exum Simine. And he's seated on the floor on a cushion. He invites you in to sit near him. And he's like, I've heard. He's like, welcome, Amira and Zoshir. He says, Zoshir of Hagaharg and Amira of the Guild. I understand you bring the spice bribe. Is this correct? You've retrieved this?
This is true.
Yeah.
The Harkonnens are searching for all of the people involved in this. If they find you, they'll likely kill you all and take the spice for themselves. You will take our thopter in the morning and go back to wherever it is that this exchange needs to be facilitated. We have an understanding.
Yes. My
Yes,
mistress
thank you.
is the one who has stayed the satellites for the moment and kept your people safe.
Zoshir will kind of like look at Amira, knowing about the loan situation. He's not gonna say anything though.
You're fine. He's like, we will get word back to Hagahog via Distrans, and we will tell them of what occurred here. And he's like, go with honor, Zoshir, Tamir. He's like, you've experienced a lot over the last few days, I imagine. You and your friends have been injured. Take as much time as you need. But the bribe has to leave first thing tomorrow, once the storm passes.
Thank you. We could not impose on your water anyway.
There's no imposition. What you do here today, you do for all, Fremen on Arrakis. Good evening to you all, he says. And he kind of motions, and like a couple Fremen guards come up and like, all right, let me show you your rooms.
One of the Fremen sneezes.
Pardon me.
You're good. Bless you. So they move you to your quarters. They settle you in. You get some rest, much needed rest. Is there anything that you do prior to the next day when they're like, get that fucking bribe out of here, or otherwise we're fucked?
No, just recuperating, making new friends. It's always good to have people in every siege.
Okay, very good.
I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
As you make friends, ask the essentially Harkonnen shipping lines, like where they will be likely to be searching for you.
I do that thing. I also see if any of them are single for Daphne. Just kidding. Zoshir doesn't know anything about that.
What was the question? You're asking about shipping lanes?
And you
Yes.
think Zoshir's gonna get out of marrying Daphne?
Chat's already shipped Zoshir with Tiberius, so
Yep.
Yeah, like that. I thought that ship has sailed, has it not?
I mean-
Zoshiribus is already a thing.
There's shipping and then there's political marriages. You know, there's room for both.
This is
Yeah.
true. All right. And it's a rather quiet evening. The rest of the time you spend at Ergs and Simon in the morning, much of the same. They bring you some food, not a lot, just enough to get you on your feet. They tend to your wounds. They rub balms and stuff on it, and they give you some water, which is quite an honor. And they escort you to a real kind of a rinky-dink looking thopter. It's probably been acquired by previous smugglers that have run afoul of the Sietch. Smugglers being not too far away to the east in the South Polar Lands. You would imagine that's very likely. You board the thopter. Which one of you is flying? Just out of curiosity, would that be Amira?
I guess so.
Now,
Well, we are gonna need to be stealthy, right? Because the Harkonnens are looking for us.
they are looking for any unsanctioned
Yeah.
flights of thopters, which would include the Fremens that are,
Yes.
especially this one that used to belong to the smugglers. Like, yeah, they're no transponder codes. Oh shit! Come right
Yeah.
after you.
Then I fully have a focus that applies here, so I will
Sweet.
drive.
Very good. This thopter is equipped with communication equipment. Did you want to try to attempt to communicate with the guild to establish the switcheroo for the bribe first, or did you want to secure the bribe elsewhere, like at another siege or in Arkeen?
I suggest, and I'm gonna actually leave this up to Amira because Amira's guild. I suggest letting them know, hey, we have it. If we go missing, it's these fuckers over here.
You know who it is.
And maybe they could even send an escort.
I think I think Amira's gonna take the middle ground here and contact Eloise rather than just the guild, just because she does not fucking trust them. So yeah, she will communicate Eloise directly, like, I have the bribe. We're on our way back.
Are you communicating just through like a communinet, like in an open channel, or are you trying to do like the sneaky thing where you're like sending like Morse code style?
Sneaky thing preferable.
Okay. I'll say that because the two of you obviously have a very intimate connection, you have a way to like secretly communicate with one another. That's
excellent.
Fine. Yeah, you express like, we have the bribe, we're fine, we're heading back. Now, where do you fly the Thopter to? And keep in mind, you're here in South Polar regions.
Playing move mirror. Scare she out of the way. Okay.
If you scroll to the left just a bit, you will see that there are some sietches there. One of which is Sihaya Tapir, Hagaharg, and then Tsympo-pons, which is near Arakeen, all along the shield wall.
Okay. And it is a Fremen Thopter, so if we fly towards sietches, we won't immediately be shot down.
Shoot you out of the sky if they have the means to do that.
Which one is Zoshir from one of the ones near Arakeen?
Yeah, Hagaharg. You heard.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's go to Zoshir's then. That seems like the logical choice.
Any objections?
Oh wait, no, Zoshir's the one that got fucked up, right?
Wait, what? What? Wait, what?
Where's the one where all the awful fighting went down? Is that Hagahar?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's Tsympo-pons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, Hagahar then. That's where we're heading.
Hagahar was where they were like, don't come back unless you have it, or you're exiled forever.
Yeah, okay. So, well, Eloise, Amira doesn't know that, but it is the safest, closest place to Arakeen that is not flying into Arakeen.
Well, and
anyone have any objections when it comes to flying to another Fremen siege?
I do not.
Very good. And off you go, heading towards Hagaharg, and hopefully the resolution of this debacle involving the spice bribe. Now we focus in the morning, the very beginnings of the morning, at the Arakeen Palace with Pardot Reed. It's moments like these, it's these mornings, right? It was just a little while ago, 20-something hours now, you've been sitting at this table, staring at it. It's the banquet table in the banquet hall. Everybody was here, and they were not here, because there was a kidnapping. The Duchess and her ward was taken by some assailants, and everyone vacated the area. Eventually, it was just you sitting here by yourself, half-eaten parfaits and drinks from that morning's brunch. Always seem to be by yourself, Pardot. Why is that? But as you sit here and think in vast ways that your mind works about different tactics, different things that you can do as the Marshal for House Cheshire to reacquire the Duchess and her ward, you begin to have these moments that you've been having, like the ones that you've had lately, these little waking dreams of memories that you've had from before. You're sitting in that small little cramped kitchen, and there's a bowl of ice cream before you, and you're just watching it melt, like the parfait that's not too far away. And nearby, there's a figure, a shadow sort of falls on the table, and you hear this voice, and you know the voice is supposed to comfort you. It's a warm, inviting voice. You feel it. You know it intimately. But when the voice comes out, it's all blurred and distorted. You know whose voice this belongs to. It's your mother. When you turn and look at the person who is supposed to be your mother, all there is this blurry visage from top to bottom, an unperson standing there, looking down at you. And then your mind realigns, and you're back in the present moment. And you're thinking, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to best serve my house now that they are my family? The transceiver goes off nearby. Marshal Reed, we have a communication from Duchess Daphne. She says that everything is fine, and they've made communication safely with the Fremen, and they're on their way back soon. This is excellent news. However, there's something else you should know. The Harkonnens have dispatched a Mentat to the palace.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. Under orders of Raban himself. They're calling him an investigator.
Oh, no.
His thopter is to arrive soon. I understand he is known as Alexei Gim. How should we proceed?
The only way we can. We ought to greet him with open arms.
Sir, you've been awake for almost 24 hours. Do you require a rest? Should we delay your meeting with the House Mentat?
Pardot looks down at the table, looks at the various coffees and other things left behind, grabs one of them, throws it back, and responds, "No, that is not necessary."
You take a shot of your Sappho juice.
Yep, shot of Sappho, spice coffee.
Nice. Not too long after the communique, you hear the thopter coming in. It's actually not one thopter, several. He has an entire entourage of Harkonnen troopers accompanying him. He walks in like he owns the place, into the banquet hall. And the Harkonnens do not seem pleased. Let me show you what he looks like here. He walks in, very impetuous seeming, looks around, sees you. I suppose you're the Mentat around here, yes?
That is correct.
You're
I take it
also
you
the
are
marshal?
the investigator?
Indeed I am. Some of the Harkonnens that are accompanying him, like, to sort of lean against the table, knock over, glassware, crashes to the ground, and you see some, like, poor, like, Fremen-looking woman, like, oh, excuse me, trying to, soak up the moisture, like, oh no, don't do that. And you see, like, they're just having a joy, they're just having a ball, just causing problems, like, oh, is this bothering you? One picks up a goblet of water and just pours it on the floor, and she's just kind of, like, aghast of the waste of moisture, and just looks at him with, like, these death eyes, Yes, I am here to investigate the kidnapping of your precious Duchess and her ward. You are, after all, under the purview of House Harkonnen now, you understand. You are to be assisting us in Carthag, not here in Arakeen. Yes. Governor Raban has issued a request of all houses on Arrakis, both minor and major, which of course includes yours. The Regis Familia is expected in Carthag, almost 2 days ago now. Suffice to say that you're late, and that your tardiness, perhaps, has caused this entire debacle. I smell Fremen scum in this. And you are now embroiled in this investigation, Master Reed. I suggest that you lead the way. Let me just tell you, though, I have become aware that the guild has become very, very aggressive with this investigation in particular. Would you care to explain to me as why?
Sir, I am but a humble mentat. I do not know.
A humble mentat, he says. He looks to the other Fremen troopers. You are the House Marshal, sir. If you do not
guild's
know...
business is none of my concern.
Oh, the business of House Cheshire is absolutely your concern, as is the security around the palace. Did you know that the Emperor's old childhood friend, the Count Fenring, lives here with his lady? Were you aware of this?
I was.
Mentat. He takes a little sip of his own sappho juice. Who is Elois Cheshire?
Oh, did he just freeze?
Oh no!
No. Right at the one of the best.
It was
Ow.
what it was Eric's computer was like gasp.
Yeah, he's, like Eric's computer was like super freaking shocked as well.
Do whatever shall we do?
Well,
Quick, Pardot, punch the guy while he's out.
Yeah, we'll collectively adjudicate this so it's fair.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and roll some dice. I'll roll a random amount.
oh, there he goes.
This is quite the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh.
This
Oh.
would be
Alright.
a brutal cliffhanger, by the way.
So,
This would be a brutal one.
executive decision, we will be going on our 10-minute break so Eric can come back. So, it's a good place to stop. Enjoy the new break screen. Hopefully we'll get Eric back soon.
So literally the last thing you said.
Welcome back. We have arrived back in Arakeen at the residency before we, now that we have returned after being rudely interrupted by the internet. We left off with Pardot Reed, the House Mentat and Marshal for House Cheshire, facing off against House Harkonnen's Alexei Gim, an investigatory advisor to Raban, the governor of Arrakis. It seems that the Harkonnens are a bit perturbed about this kidnapping of the Duchess, but more than that, they're a little bit disturbed about the deaths of Harkonnen troopers around the shield wall, and how the guild has been coming down very hard on them with any attempt to investigate said loss of forces. So, enter Alexei Gim and his troopers. This guy is not a simpleton, Pardot Reed. That much you can tell. Like, he's not of the sort of caliber that the Baron himself would surround himself with someone like this, but he is nonetheless a devious little creature. So, although you suspect that you may be able to surpass someone like him in your abilities, he is nonetheless considerable in your eyes, and not to be underestimated. How do you respond to his demands to know who Eloise Cheshire is and why she isn't present at the palace?
So, this is where the mind games begin.
Indeed.
Pardot responds to the question, who is Eloise Cheshire? With a very simple, she is a representative of the guild.
Yes, and she's also part of this house, is she not? Judging by her surname.
She was.
Oh, she was!
If she was, I did not know it.
Is she deceased?
I do not know yet. We will find that out shortly.
But you should know. Should you not? She only just arrived at the Arakeen starport not just a few days ago. Indeed, she made her way to this very location. Are you very good at your job, Pardot Reed?
When I am not sabotaged, I ordinarily am.
He seems to intimate something like, oh, it seems the Jabberwockian cat has the Mentat's tongue.
Done for. That's it. That's the killing blow.
And
Pardot starts to stammer.
You think the Harkonnens don't know who arrives on Arrakis? We know of Eloise Cheshire's arrival in Arakeen. You, being the House Marshal, should know where all your retinues are, all your retainers are located. Except perhaps, of course, your Duchess, who was so recently abducted. But perhaps you can regale me with the location of this previous member of your house, guild representative, because as I understand it, Judge, from the communications that I've had with the embassy in Arakeen, it was she who gave the order. She who made these insinuations, these threats against House Harkonnen. If you don't know where she is, you must be able to reach her via comm. Or are you that inept? He looks over at one of the other troopers. I think this Mentat may lose his right vest. I'll give you a moment to respond, Master Reed. Would you care for some sappho juice?
Actually, I would. If you'd be so kind.
Of course. He says, and he hands you the a little bottle.
And Pardot proceeds to put it into his pocket as he goes on to attempt to gain contact with Eloise.
You are a facsimile of a Mentat, a child at play. You use the communion net to contact Eloise, and he just waits patiently, just looking at you with this like scathing glance. Eloise, I believe you were attempting to fly out to the shield wall personally.
Yes, I have a investigation to conduct.
Pardot's on the line while you're on the thopter.
Marshal Reed, what can I do for you?
Eloise?
Yes.
I am here with a fellow investigator. I'd like to gain any information you may have as to the recent disappearance of Daphne.
I don't know anything about her disappearance or her whereabouts. That's not my concern.
And what of and he turns to Alexei and simply states, the sappho juice, it may be, I may be relying on it too much, it seems.
Oh, have you? What news? Were you able to reach your non-existent member of this house, Marshal Reed? Put her on the line now.
And Pardot puts Eloise on the line.
Is this the former member of House Cheshire, Miss Eloise?
You can refer to me as member of the guild, Eloise Cheshire.
I'll refer to you as interfering in an official Harkonnen investigation.
Oh, am I?
Yes, you should know you initiated it.
See, I thought I was initiating an investigation of my own, considering an agent of mine disappeared after you sent your ornithopters and opened fire randomly at a siege, I believe.
The Harkonnens do not randomly fire on caves of these filthy Fremen.
Well, then you won't mind me examining the black boxes of the ornithopters there, will you?
Well, not at all, after we've had our chance. Because this is not a guild matter. This is a Harkonnen matter.
I've made it a guild matter.
And we've made it a Harkonnen matter. So it seems we're at a bit of an impasse, would you say?
If you say so.
Don't forget who holds the reins to the spice, my dear.
Don't forget who holds the reins to every movement of every house in this universe.
Oh, please. Your threats are empty as your promises. You cannot move without the spice. Therefore, you need us. Now, give us your coordinates.
I think you know where your thopters went down, do you not? That's where
Oh,
you'll
we
find
know.
me.
Our Harkonnen forces are already en route there. I
What a
just need
coincidence.
you here now.
I'm afraid I have a pressing appointment at that siege right now.
Oh, I see. Well, then I shall see you there, or rather, my Harkonnen troopers will meet you there. Be sure not to interfere, because they don't really care very much for who gets in their way. And who knows? There may be a misfire or two with their las guns, and, well, accidents will always happen, won't they? These scenes, these criminal Fremen, and scenes of their violence are always fraught with destruction and carnage. There's also so many booby traps and things to be found there of Fremen manufacture. I suggest that if you do go investigating in those hills, Miss Cheshire, you do so cautiously. Ta-ta! Click. He turns to you, Pardot. Quite an interesting specimen you keep in your company, Marshal Reed. I'm putting together a team to investigate the deaths of, well, close to 20 Harkonnen troopers and 3 military military-style ornithopters of House Cheshire's make. I want to know what happened and when. Do I make myself clear?
Of course. And likewise.
Good. Consider yourself and your friend Alois deputized by the Beast Raban. I shall expect you on site no sooner than 1/4 of an hour. Good day to you, sir. Turns around, walks out. Our Harkonnen troopers all kind of have a chuckle at your expense. Turn over some of the silverware onto the floor again, just for fun, just for shits and giggles. And the housekeeper again is just like, oh my God. And she rushes over to like clean stuff up. There's something about how she drops to the ground immediately and just is having like a. She seems exhausted and full of regret. Something about that sparks a memory inside of you, but it's kind of, it rises and then it falls away suddenly. What do you do?
Pardot hesitates for a moment as the memory rushes and then falls back. He, after the moment, rushes to help her clean up.
You're almost operating on instinct, which is unusual for you. You're always calculated. Every movement that you take is calculated and methodical, right? So as you drop down to assist her, she kind of looks up, like almost expecting to be assaulted. You suspect by the way that she reacts to you. When she sees that you're assisting her, you get a glance of her blue within blue eyes. This woman is a native of Fremen. She's like, oh, thank you. You do not have to do this, sir. It is my duty to clean these floors and take after your charges.
And if I cannot help you clean up these floors, then perhaps some way I can help you clean up your planet. And he looks towards the door that the Harkonnens walked out from.
She sees that, she hears that, and she's like, she nods and smiles somewhat nervously and looks away like she doesn't know what to say. She cleans up what she can. She starts, moving the stuff out, and she calls for others to help her. It seems like she's sort of like a housemaid or something like that, almost like the head of the local household staff. Come, she says, I need help. What do you do now? Are you preparing to meet with Alexei Gim and his troopers, as Alois is undoubtedly en route to the crash site?
We have how long? 15 minutes before he expects us to be there?
1/4 of an hour.
1/4 of an hour. 15 minutes. Okay. Pardot, as quickly as possible, tries to find a... I'm sure the Reverend Mother has a couple of housekeepers under her influence here or there. I'm certain.
Sure.
Pardot
also-
very simply says to one of them that I'm certain he would have picked up, like, they do a little bit of an exchange every time they pass. There must be a connection there. Just be like, this is a vial of sappho juice. It was given to me by the investigator. I need you to poison it.
So, do you remember Belanda, the little 8-year-old girl who's being trained by Norma after she was acquired on Ishia? She's here, and she's with these handmaidens that occasionally work with the Reverend Mother on the premises. They came with her from Wallach Ix. She takes the vial of sappho juice and says, "It will be done," and puts it behind her back.
Good. Thank you.
Oh, just an 8-year-old.
He's 8!
She's very familiar with residual poison, by the way.
Yes.
Intimately so.
Thank you, because that's exactly what I sent you.
Excellent. All right. So, now we shall shift over to Archibald. Oh, Archibald. So it has been some time since Kaitane, you and Omelas have traveled back, or have begun your preparations at least to travel back. He has reported to you that he has successfully gotten your request into the hands of House Atreides' representative within the Landsraad. And if you are to complete your plans, you can leave from Kaitane immediately upon a guild hayliner. It'll take the lesser part of a week to go from point A to point B. There will be stops along the way, however. Do you want to take a straight shot? Do you want to go back to Jabberwock first and handle affairs there? How do you want to conduct yourself here?
So, the Harkonnen contact is on Jabberwock, correct?
Which Harkonnen's contact?
The Baron said he was sending a emissary to Jabberwock. Am I wrong? Just want to make sure. If that's not a thing, that's not a thing.
Yes. Eventually, you were going to receive somebody there.
Gotcha. I just haven't received them yet. Yeah. Okay. So I would probably. And Yeva's with me right now, correct?
No. She stayed on Jabberwock while you went to Kaitane to deal with the inquiries.
Okay. I would go back to Jabberwock, and I would bring her with me.
Okay.
If Omelas needs to stay behind to govern the planet, so be it.
Oh, I see. So you leave him to take care of affairs while the both of you are out.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. You arrive on Jabberwock, and Yeva greets you upon entry. She's like, "Well, how did it go?"
Very promising, I would say. So, how do you think it went?
I'm waiting on you to answer my question. Did we win?
I would say so. Certainly have more than we do now, than we did.
How so? She has like a spark in her eye when she asks this question. Like, she is invested in what you have to say.
Well. Obviously, we have a bigger army.
We've maintained House Drunenbar's forces, as I suspected. What about the equipment?
We have maintained those too.
You're
Oh,
lying to
military.
her.
Thought you said everything military went to us. Okay, out of character. I thought everything military went to us, correct?
Everything Yiva took, she got to keep, but the majority of assets go to Cheshire.
Right, so like you have the drivers, and House Cheshire has the cars, to put it bluntly. So like all the tanks and fun things. I'll double check that actually because
Yeah, because you told me, like, I was told that everything, like the Drunenbar military, which was basically Yeva's side, and anything economical, House Cheshire got.
here we go. Having heard your account, da 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 da. Aha. As for the forces and assets inherited by the union of Archibald Cheshire and Yeva Schumann through marriage, they will now fall under the control of House Librius. Territories that used to belong to House of Cardis and Drunenbar now belong exclusively to House Cheshire. The Moon of Snicker will continue to belong to House Cheshire, while Snack and its assets will go to House Librius. Oh shit. Hold on, one moment.
That's what I thought. I know what I heard.
Yes, you storm my cabin. One moment.
I love how Eric is swearing in Fremen.
Chat. By the way, chat's saying there's some sort of feedback going on. Apparently,
Is there? How about now? Better? I hope.
I am not hearing anything, so it might be me.
Oh,
I
that's
hear it
weird.
a little bit with you.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn the audio off from the on-break screen.
Oh no! Honest mistakes.
All right.
I'm happy for this.
It should be better, chat. Tell me if it gets worse or still stays bad.
There we go. I saw myself crashing and I caught it. Haha. All right. So, what was I saying? Oh yes. So you are correct. You get the tanks. You get the people from House Drunenbar, but you get none of the territories, with the exception of the Second Moon.
Correct. That's what I thought.
Well,
Well,
it's very convoluted. I know.
Yeah.
You explain that. You tell her honestly what you've attained.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
She's
hide that.
pleased. She is disappointed, though, that the territories all belong to House Cheshire. She's not very happy about that.
And I'm gonna tell Yeva, don't worry, Yeva. Whether you like to believe it or not, I don't plan on being here long. Once my affairs on Arrakis are done, I don't want to be on planet Cheshire anymore.
Good.
I have plans. That is why I didn't fight for the land, because I don't want it.
She seems pleased that you made this decision and that you decided to tell her. She's like, "What's our next move then?"
I look at her and I say, remember, yes, all of us have personal issues within ourselves, but I won't hide anything from you. At least
Do I have your word, General?
regarding to the house. What?
Do I have your word?
Yes, you do. Which is why our next move, believe it or not, is to go to Kaladin.
The Atreides? Really?
Really?
You think you can get a better deal than what the Baron gave you? I shall hold out hope. This once. I'll
Yes.
pray that you're right.
Yeva, I also think that you are thinking too small.
What can be larger than Arrakis, my dear?
That's just something you'll have to wait and see. And I'm just going to usher her in.
Okay. You make arrangements to Caladan.
Yep.
Takes about a week or so to get over there. There are stops, of course, along the way. Do you stop off at any one of those locations for like a day layover or what have you before proceeding on, or do you kind of just go straight shot and just stay on board the Hageliner until then?
No, I would say we should just go straight there. I don't think there would be.
Okay, so you take the majority of the time that you're traveling to go straight to there. You don't go off the beaten path or anything like that. House Atreides, because you made the gesture that you did at the Landsraad on Kaitane, they're expecting you, and so they sort of roll out the red carpet for you. There are banners. There is fanfare. There are bagpipes going off, and there are troops. Like as soon as you arrive on the shuttle, on the little lighter down onto the planet's surface, there are people as far as you can see just lined up and ready to receive you. You sense that perhaps they did so not because you belong to a nascent house, but because you represent a larger house than yourself, one that House Atreides considers an ally. And Yeva tells you as much when you arrive. Sort of a semi-gloomy morning where the sun is occluded by these overcast clouds. This place is very different from Jabberwock. It's not jungles. It's all it's mostly oceans and lakes and rivers and moors and swamps and so on. So it's a very different, very different culture here. That much is almost immediately evident when you arrive. And there, of course, is a very prominent receiving entourage waiting for you and Lady Yeva. Do you use like an official title to introduce yourself, or do you just go with Lord and Lady word I'm looking for, Librius?
I would say, I would definitely say, kind of going back, Earl.
Aha, Earl Librius.
Correct. Earl Archibald
and
Librius.
Countess
correct.
or she takes I would imagine she takes your last name at this point.
Correct.
Countess Librius. Very well. Yeva wears her best military outfit. She refuses to wear a dress, and she comes down with you on the. So you both look like you're decked out in like your finest duds. As you make your way down the ramp, you are received from some pages, and they bring you before the Duke and his family. Standing to his side is the Lady Jessica, who is a concubine and not a wife, you note. Behind the Duke seems to be sort of his right-hand man, a stony, broad-chested, brow-beaten, sort of nasty-looking customer with a long ink vine scar along his face. He does not appear to be smiling. On his other side, however, is a young boy of maybe 15, 16 years old. He's got, semi-wavy hair, olive skin, dark, light eyes, we'll say. And he's standing there at full attention in like a military uniform, and he seems a bit bored, like he's like kind of looking off into the distance, but as soon as you're brought before them, he kind of stands to attention and tries to maintain eye contact with you and Lady Schumann. I'm just going to refer to her as Schumann for ease of use here, but you're brought forward and he's like, Earl Librius, welcome to Caladan. I'm Duke Leto. Come. He's like, we've heard the stories. We're excited to meet you and to talk about, well, so many things. Welcome to Castle Caladan, he says, and he points to this very large castle that stands atop of like a rocky, just imagine like every, scary castle like at the edge of a rocky, by the water, with the waves cresting and crashing into the rocks. It's that, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, if you allow me, Countess Librius, and you see there is a lot of curtsy and pomp involving this particular moment. You see that he has he seems very genuine in the way that he comes across. The guy standing behind him, though, is just staring daggers at you and Yeva the whole time, like he's sizing you up for a fight, trying to figure out like the 16 different ways he can probably kill you if he needed to, with like a little pin on his lapel, The other guy who's standing off to the side appears to be an old man, a little overweight for his size, perhaps, but he sports like a graying beard, and he uses a walking staff to get around, essentially, and he's sort of leaning on it a bit, and his lips are blood red with sappho juice infusion. He's very obviously the House Mentat, the one you've heard so much about, Thufir Hawat.
I've heard a lot about your entourage that you have here.
As you should. They're some of the finest in the galaxy. And the finest in the Imperium, I dare say. But you're quite exceptional yourself, as I understand. We all heard what happened on Jabberwock. And my condolences, as always, regarding the former Duchess Adeline. How is Daphne these days? He asks.
She is, from what I know, she's doing well. Granted, she went to the most dangerous place in the galaxy.
Arrakis? I've heard of the chum contract that the Emperor has granted them. The entire Landsraad, in fact, is abuzz with gossip. So I'm actually very excited to meet your acquaintance and perhaps clear the air about all the different things that we've heard. Perhaps you can clarify some of these rumors.
I would like to know, what kind of rumors have you been hearing?
Oh, let's talk inside, shall we?
Sure, by all means.
They lead you inside, and there's just so much pomp here. There's even like a guy who walks like 6 pugs, alongside the Duke, all the way up to the inside of the castle. And he's like, "Let me introduce you to my entourage. This is Thufir Hawat. This is Gurney Halleck. He's my war master. You'll probably get along with him quite well, I suspect. And this is my son Paul, my concubine, Lady Jessica. Jessica seems very poised and always in control. She's pleased to meet you, General.
Nice to meet you.
Heard of your exploits. As you're being walked into the castle and towards this receiving area, basically it's like a very large foyer, right? Like there's a fireplace and wall-to-wall bookcases and stuff, and lots of comfy suspensor chairs and glow globes that immediately illuminate the moment you walk in. Like, please have a seat. And it's a very informal setting, despite all the pomp. And there are several guards kind of posted around here, and they shut the doors. Yeva is just kind of like scoping everybody out, and she seems to be kind of like giving the side eye to Jessica, who she noticed as soon as she met you. She reached forward and just sort of cupped your hands for a brief moment before receding.
And I notice all this, correct?
Yeah. It's not unusual to get a handshake or like a pat in the back or something like that. This lady just comes forwards and grabs one of your hands and sandwiches them with her hands, very soft hands, and just sort of makes eye contact with you for just a moment and then retreats her hands. Lady Yeva sees that and just kind of right, bish. You're led into this room, and you sit on the suspensor chairs, and Paul seems quite bored. He kind of like leans on the mantelpiece, staring into the flames. Gurney Halleck stands stalwart as always, stoic by the doorway, just sort of his back to the wall, eyes always on you and Yeva, never leaving your sight. The Mentat sits aside the Duke, along with his lady on his opposite side. And servants come in. They bring drinks for each of you. Lady Yeva takes it and sniffs it and kind of sips for it a little bit and just kind of like tries not to make a face and just kind of gently puts it down like, oh gosh. She's obviously not a fan. They offer you Caledonian wine. It's quite tasty if you care to imbibe.
I wouldn't overdo it.
Okay.
I would probably just want to show that I'm not threatening or uncomfortable, you know?
Not at all. They're actually very eager to talk to you, it seems. The Duke opens the conversation first. He's like, so I understand that you helped repel this assault that took place on Jabberwock, and Yeva sort of intervenes, like, he's a hero, you know.
And Yeva's correct about that. I was the sole reason that that planet survived and why Lady Daphne is alive as well.
I see. Well, tell me, there's a lot of rumors going around on the Landsraad. Obviously, there was the use of atomics, and our representatives in the Landsraad reported back to us that they are conducting an inquiry with all parties involved.
Okay.
There was talk of a traitor in your midst. Is this true? Choosing your words carefully.
Yeah. Well, yes, there was, but it was something that we took care of swiftly. You know what I mean?
You see, he looks over to Yeva. I understand you. This assault and all the death that resulted from it didn't just end there. I suppose it bore unexpected fruit, I suppose.
Yes. I guess you could say that. Definitely the marriage between me and Yeva.
Jessica speaks up. How long have you known each other?
I don't know. Not very long. But we're getting to know each other as we go along.
Yeva interrupts. It's a political marriage. I'm sure you would understand. Indeed I would, she says. You see, Who fears, like, I understand that, or we've heard that your enemies, House Carroll, had acquired atomics, terrible weapons, and used them on the populace there, but they didn't attack you. Why was that? How did you manage to deflect? Or he phrases it a different way. He's like, how did you manage to survive their assault if they were intent on destroying all life on the planet?
So I'm going to toot my own horn here and be like, because I have the mind of a very experienced strategist and I know what I'm doing. And as for that other question, I have no idea. That's something that you'd have to ask Lady Daphne for.
I
was in
intend
prison
to at
for
some
10
point,
years.
perhaps. So. You see, Duke Leto is like, Gurney Halleck speaks up. If I may, sire. Of course, Gurney, join the conversation. Why didn't you bring your balisette? And he's like, not in a playing mood, my lord. House Carroll attacked all houses on Jabberwock. Why? Their Canley was with House Cheshire and with no one else. Give me an understand roll.
Yeah. Because I don't think I was ever told this, so I really don't think I know this. Oh, geez. Where is my dude? Oh, there it is. My bad. So you want to understand roll, correct?
Yes, please.
Understand. I got freaking focus in this. This is going to be truth.
You have observation? Or sorry, what do you have as you have deductive reasoning, right? That applies. Go ahead.
Correct. Truth. How many dice? 2. Yes, focus. And we have 1. I have a lot in this one. We should be good anyways. Oh! Fuck you, Hewitt Thauer. I said his name wrong.
Very good. I'll give you a point of momentum for that, actually. Here's the thing. You were very sure coming here that you were walking into a celebration of you, of everything, of your, as a vassal of House Cheshire, and how House Atreides views House Cheshire as an ally, along with House Ikaz. The more and more you spend time with the Atreides in this function, you start to realize this is an interrogation.
Oh, believe me, I know. It's he got that real damn quick with the
Yeah, but the thing about this is that they're trying to gauge whether you are to be trusted as they trust House Cheshire, or if you're not to be trusted. But they're trying to see if they can get your story and examine it for any flaws, as it were. Kind of how the Landsraad did their thing. Obviously, their representative came back and said, here, this person said this is what happened, and they want to meet with you. And the Duke and his advisors were like, yeah, let him walk in. We'll talk to him.
Okay.
How do you proceed with the rest of the questioning?
So the question was,
is there a traitor in your midst? Is it true? And why did House Carroll attack all the other houses on Jabberwock?
Oh, that was the last question. I answered the traitor one. Well, I have my suspicions on what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. But I think House Cheshire may have known that there was someone behind the strings. Maybe tipped them off.
They were alerted to this assault?
I wouldn't say alerted.
They suspected it was a trap, however.
Correct. Maybe. Like I said, I don't know. I wasn't there for the interaction.
You see, Thufir remarks, it's a very calculated risk to take. He's like, there were billions of people that died in the onslaught that occurred afterwards.
Oh, I know. And graciously, I was the one that had to clean it up.
You see, Yeva speaks up now. If this is to be an interrogation, can I have some better wine than this? And she points to the Caledonian wine that they put in front of her. Jessica just kind of gives her the fuck you eyes for a second. And just kind of looks to Duke Leto. You see, Gurney Halleck starts moving from the doorway, and Duke, Leto puts up his hand. It's like, that's okay. It is this is what this is, after all. Paul, And Paul just kind of nods and exits out the side door. The tension has increased a bit in the room now, with the young heir having left the room, and you being left here with the Duke and his top men and his consort, of course.
Oh, now it's going to turn into a real interrogation. I'm excited. Let's go, grill me.
I apologize for any subterfuge, General, but you have to understand that we live in dangerous times. And just as House Cheshire walked knowingly onto a trap when they came to Arrakis and dealing with the Harkonnens, we are poised to do the same soon.
Oh, believe me. I know just as well that you can't really trust anyone, in my honest opinion.
I wouldn't go that far. There's always someone that you can trust, and that's family. These people here, they're family to me. Our allies are stalwart, and I believe that if we stick together, we can change the way things run in the Imperium. Tell me, do you know of the secret coalition that we're building?
Secret coalition?
Thufir throws a look at the Duke when he says that, like, what did you just say? Are you sure you want to say that right now? And he's like, it's all right, Thufir. There's something about him, House Cheshire. I trust him. And what about me, your Highness? Your Grace, you see Yeva says as she kind of crosses her legs and has brought another glass of wine. She sniffs it and takes a sip and is like, it isn't terrible. The Duke is like, I'll hold my counsel, if you don't mind, Countess. I don't know you personally. I certainly didn't know House Drunenbar. But as I understand, you are the... What was your official title again? She's like, I was the Commandant in the 3rd Symphony for House Drunenbar. I am now the highest ranking officer in that military. I control all of their forces. The military might is useful in warfare.
No shit.
House Atreides doesn't seek to make war. We seek to make peace. He kind of points to the banners that run down the wall, the hawk. On the other side of the wall, there's a set of bull's horns stick out of the wall. And he's like, we understand the dangers of hubris. Those bull's horns there, they belong to my father, Paulus Atreides. He died when he was gored by the bull he had come out of retirement to kill. He killed that Seleucid bull, but it costed him his life. A valuable lesson, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so.
Thufir here says that the best way of avoiding a trap is to know of its existence. Arrakis is such a trap, and it could destroy us all if we set foot on it. Harkonnens or no.
So
Why? Go ahead.
tell me this. You say you want to make peace. Are you planning to do that with the Harkonnens? They are
No.
your...
He says, it's flat out, just like, no.
All right.
What I am attempting to do, though, is to build a coalition of houses within the Landsraad. We're going to issue a resolution. And we want House Cheshire and their vassals as part of that coalition. Would you be interested in such an action? Yeva speaks up for you. She's like, who exactly are we resoluting against here if it's not your fabled nemesis, the Harkonnens? He pauses and looks to you first for a response.
That is a good question.
Require an answer before you
Correct. Yes.
throw in your support. Very well. That's understandable. You see, Thufir Howat stands up and uses his cane. My lord, please. I beg you. It's all right, Thufir. Like I said, Earl Librius is indeed a hero. He saved billions. And his house is a vassal for House Cheshire. They are our allies. Just like House Ikaz and so many others. I trust them to be part of this coalition. You see, Yeva, kind of like finishes a drink, puts it down on the floor. Out with it already. Who exactly do you believe to be opposing with this resolution of yours within the Landsraad? Are you going to issue a bill of particulars? You see the Duke later, just, nothing phases him. He's just like, we're going up against House Corrino with this resolution, and the Emperor himself.
Now, when she says that, I'm 100% going to observe her because of what I told her on the planet earlier.
Her eyes go wide, as they should. And she's just she has this look of like, are you shitting me? And she looks around the room like, is this bullshit? Is this a joke? Not a joke.
Well.
We have your support.
Ooh.
And more importantly, would we have House Cheshire's support as well?
Thing is,
I
I
can't
can't
speak for your sponsor house, but perhaps you could speculate.
I'm sure if you asked the Countess that you would probably get something.
You mean the Duchess?
Duchess, sorry, my bad.
I have an agent on Arrakis currently. I can establish contact, certainly.
Sure.
It'll be done. And he looks over to Gurney and nods. And without saying a word, Gurney's like, it'll be done, sire.
As for me, right now, yes.
Thufir sighs and sits down. He seems exhausted.
I actually have something I wanted to talk with you about, Leto.
In private or with present company?
So, out of character. No. Who is here?
Everybody but Paul, as far as the... And,
So-
of course, Duncan, Idaho. He is not present.
Is UA there?
No.
Damn it. Okay. Well, either way, I can still, yeah. So the thing is I have a plan for Arrakis. And it may end up with the death of the Baron.
Many have tried and failed. The Baron is not an easy person to approach, let alone affect in such a way.
Oh,
Have
believe
you
me.
been
I
to
know.
Gidi Prime before? Yeva's like, yes, we have, actually.
Yeah.
Have you? Now, you see Jessica is very intently watching and studying you and Yeva. She kind of gets up, walks around the room, and just sort of, takes sips from her glass and just is focused on observing the both of you.
See, the thing is obviously, you know my great feats, and you know I'm pretty smart when it comes to this stuff, and I put things two and two together. I just find it really weird that granted, you already know that I know, that both House Corrino and House Harkonnen are giving you Arrakis. Obviously, that makes for a trap. But, and that's the thing that doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is that I believe they're working together.
He smiles when you say this, and he's like, "You're quite wise to think that. I suspect that they are as well. We see the hand of the Emperor and everything that's happening on Arrakis currently, regarding the Harkonnens and regarding our soon-to-be fief on Arrakis. This information will, of course, make the rounds along the Landsraad within the coming months. Our Harkonnens will vacate the premises. Our forces will move in. We have been tasked with the odious task to mine the spice on Arrakis. Now, the average time span for any house, given this edict, is typically 100 years. The Harkonnens have been there for 80. But the Emperor is pulling them out soon. And we will be going in. Let me say this. But the reason we brought you here, General, is not to make war. You are undoubtedly a warrior. You can win any battle that is put before you. But it is because you sued for peace and won that I was interested in seeing you firsthand and meeting you. I remember the story of how you quelled that rebellion by surrendering yourself to the enemy. It was risky, and some of my own retainers would say that it was a foolish move, but I disagree. You refused to take part in a conflict that would have resulted in brothers and sisters annihilating each other. And when they saw this act, they were moved. They were moved to make amends and to cease hostilities. An incredible story that you created. Not a drop of blood on that battlefield that day. That is why I wanted you here. That is why I want you and House Cheshire to join this coalition. If we have your support, then we will move forward. And do you ever add anything to that or no?
So, out of character, the plan that I am willing to give them, would they even do it?
He's interested in what you're saying, but that isn't the primary reason, is what he's saying, that why he brought you to Caladan, why he allowed you to be received in the way that you were. He's not interested in you as a war master, he's interested in you as the peacemaker.
Jesus, one wants me to be a war master, one wants me to be a freaking peacemaker, really?
Well, he specifically, like, he goes on to sort of elaborate a little bit on his plan. We have several houses, both major and minor, that have banded together as part of this coalition. We're going to institute a resolution against the Emperor and his house within the Landsraad. This is after we've acquired Arrakis and the Harkonnens have moved out. This is a calculated move, obviously. We're going to take steps to essentially force him out. It is true that the Emperor is feared because of his command of the Vasarkar army that he helms, and also because of the majority shares that he holds in the Chom Corporation. However, what everyone forgets is that all the other houses of the Landsraad also have shares within Chom. And if there's more of us than there are of him, we could potentially force him out. The alternatives, of course, is war. And walking into a trap that we cannot avoid, that we perhaps will not be able to avoid. I will accept any military aid you and House Cheshire may offer, but I understand if you need time to think this over. However, know that we have only months to make that decision. Do we have an accord?
Yes, give me some time to kind of stew on this.
You see, Yeva is like about to explode with things that she wants to say.
I know that.
Like, are you fucking crazy? No, but like she notices that she's being observed by the Lady Jessica and all the other people in here, so she's like playing it cool for the moment and seeing how you react first. Just kind of nodding and going along with it.
Okay.
After he shakes your hand, you know,
and I'll tell him you'll have my answer by today.
Well, we don't need it today. We just need it within the next few weeks, the next few months. Send a page, send a message, whatever you wish. But get back to us and let us know so that we know how to proceed. I'm glad that we were able to meet finally, and I'm happy that we're able to make new allies of you and House Cheshire. My agent will reach out to the Duchess on Arrakis soon to try to get an inkling as to whether this is something that House Cheshire wants to pursue. Obviously, you will need to talk to them as well because they are your sponsor house.
Okay, so I've made a decision. To be honest, I just kind of wanted to see the reaction of Yeva.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I can't talk today. I'm going to say yes. That's ultimately what's going to happen.
Okay. Thufir grabs a scroll. It's encased in plasteel. It's sealed shut. It has a seal on it. Duke Leto Atreides' ring. Hands it to you. And before he lets it go, he's like, no one is to know of this outside of your respective houses. Do I understand? Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Very well. And you see Lady Jessica, in a total power move, gets up, looks at Yeva, and says, feel free to stay as long as you like. Stay a day, or perhaps 2 days, if you prefer, she says. Stay as long as you like. Which comes across as like, I don't want you here after her performance, so get the fuck out of here within 2 days, please. Thank you, goodbye. She turns and leaves with this like stony little smile, and then she slips out of the room to pursue Paul in the other room. The Duke stands up and, you know, claps your hands and nods at Yeva, shows you the door. If you wish to stay, you can stay at Castle Caladan for however long, or you can get back on your merry way after, you know, first light tomorrow or whatever.
We'll be leaving. I'm sure Yeva would like to get back home.
Understandable. Be careful out there, General.
You know.
Good luck. You board the lighter, goes back up to the Highliner, and they start preparations to jump into space. Probably several hours or days later, once they're ready to leave orbit, they jettison back. Where are you going? Are you going back to Jabberwock or back to Arrakis?
Oh, that's a good freaking question. I don't really have any. Pretty much So if the repairs are not done on Jabberwock, so like the rebuild that I promised, if it's not done, I'm probably gonna go back to Jabberwock to make sure it gets done.
By rebuild, you mean
as in rebuilding the planet? When I told them that I was going to rebuild it.
Those efforts are taking place on Jabberwock.
Okay. So I don't necessarily need to be there for those, or?
Not necessarily. You left Amelis in charge. As long as you gave him detailed instructions, he'll do exactly what you tell him to do.
Okay.
Excellent. You board the Highliner and it's on its way back to the folks on Arrakis. Now, to say, in the interest of time, we're going to say that Daphne, Mossum, Norma, Zoshir, Tiberius and Amira all return more or less around the same time. And that glorious morning sunrise, after the Harkonnen Thopters came in with Alexei Gim, and then they take back off again towards the investigative site, your Thopters land at the Arakeen Palace hours later. Pardot, you are no longer there because you took off to go meet with the Harkonnen Mentat. However, you were probably notified on your way to the crash site that the Duchess and the rest of the entourage have arrived back at the residency. Oh, sorry. Zoshir, Amira, and Tiberius went to the Sietch. My apologies. So we'll just cover Daphne, Mossam, and Norma as you return back to the residency.
Yeah. Sorry, taking the notes. So, Daphne exits the Thopter. Just perfect posture. No, there was never a problem. That was all just a misunderstanding. I'm so sorry for freaking everybody out, but everything is perfectly under control now.
There's feedback again, apparently.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, that is because I unmuted myself.
Ah. Curses.
It went away. It went away on its own.
It's because I remuted myself.
Actually, you got louder, and I think it went away. I don't know what that means. I think maybe there might be a loose cable.
Goblins. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean.
Gremlins.
Yeah, goblins, please. Hold on. Don't besmirch gremlins. Very offensive.
Sure. Norma, when you arrive back at the residency, Daphne's like, "Oh, it's just a great misunderstanding. Everything's fine." Mossam is a little bit sullen, but he follows in her footsteps. When you get out, you see Belanda's there waiting for you with the other sisters. She's holding something that glimmers in the sun in one of her hands.
Walk over to her. Oh, the thing I said earlier about for Mossam, give him a little toy from the Siege.
Okay.
Memento from his mother, I say.
Okay, fair enough. A fake Mala pistol or something like that. All right.
A little Chris knife, like toy
a
version.
Worm doll or something. Sure.
Yeah.
You see, she holds up this little bottle full of like reddish liquid. Marshal Reed suggested that this be attuned with a special remedy. Similar to the one that you attributed to me.
And the one I attributed to him.
Indeed.
Who's the subject?
A Harkonnen Mentat. That is who this belongs to. I wasn't given a name.
Norma raises an eyebrow. De Vries? That would be poetic.
She shrugs. He left. They went to some sort of investigative site on the shield wall. There was tension in the banquet hall.
That. When shall they return?
I do not know. The entire time, by the way, she's signing to you underneath with her little fingers, and she's like, the Harkonnens are thumbing their nose at the guild. They are attempting to investigate the site first. Meanwhile, the guild appears to be threatening them by recalling spice and so on, because they're nervous about the state of the scene. Elois and the marshal are on their way, if not already there.
Oh, indeed. I presume
Orders?
I presume she tells me that I should be. She has been given the little bottle of Sappho juice that's supposed to be like the method.
Yes.
So I will mix in a little bit of residual poison into the Sappho, and so that he basically will have. How long do you think that bottle would last him?
I don't know.
Give or take.
On how addicted he is, I suppose.
But I basically want him to be able to have like a good solid 3-4 days before he even has none left, so that the residual poison starts to take actual effect.
Okay.
So that there's a little bit of a gap between he was investigating this and all of a sudden he keeled over.
I almost half expected you to take out the gum jabar and just kind of stir it a little bit and put the topper back on, but that works too. You kind of put it underneath the folds of your Abba cloak.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Any further orders?"
I give her a strange look and I say, "Play with Mossum."
Do I have to?
Actual play.
She kind of like resists the temptation to roll her eyes. Fine. She turns and walks with you. Daphne, what's the first thing you do arriving back at the residential palace?
Alright, hopefully the feedback has fixed itself. I fucked around with some wires. But I imagine Daphne knows that she's late for the summons to Carthag. Yeah, so the next step is to make preparations. Like, what time of day is it?
It is currently morning. You arrive
Okay.
a few hours after dawn, perhaps.
Yeah, so she'll give the household essentially a day to prepare, but would like to essentially take the red eye to Carthag.
Okay. So the first flight out, full entourage. Are you gonna take anybody with you though?
I will bring. Well, no, I will let Norma decide because I am not bringing Masum. He is staying here. I will send.
Choice.
I will send a message to Pardot, telling him I'm safe. I'm back at the palace. Everything is fine. I'm going to Carthag. Meet me there as soon as you can.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then other than that, bringing more guards than is normal, but not enough to be an obvious insult.
Okay.
And then, like, stewards, servants, etc., etc.
Is Norma to remain at the residency?
Oh, right. Because I'm leaving Masum here, that is up to Norma. Like, I would very much like to have Norma with me and help me navigate whatever the fuck is gonna go on over there. But also, like, if she wants to stay to keep an eye on Masum, that's also, like, a useful and valuable thing.
So we still have Panda's character, like, around, right?
Thea is waddling around
here
with an orange Catholic Bible.
I'll let Thea be Thea here, raise the kids as kids, and I'll join along.
Okay. So you and Daphne and an entourage of guards will be heading immediately to Carthag. Very well. So you get situated for a little bit. The security commander is like going crazy. He wants to know everything that happened, obviously, and they don't want you going back out again. But you insist enough to them, Daphne, that you're like, it's fine. We had a cultural exchange situation. Everything's fine now. Cool. You smooth it over with them, but they are like freaking out. They do not want to let you or anybody else within the Regis Familia out of their sight. So they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll send guards with you, like double the usual guard." Like there's just like flights of ornithopters flying next to you, like leading you into Carthage. They do not trust you going anywhere right now with what just happened.
All right, I want to do one thing as we fly into Carthage.
Sure.
Are you aware of the Blue Angels?
Yes.
I really want to do like a Blue Angel trick flight entrance when we get into Carthag airspace.
Sure, they're happy to oblige you. They're excellent pilots.
Okay.
The Harkonnens are just kind of like, huh. But yeah, you make a show of coming in and everything like that. So okay, you're that. It takes a couple hours. You're there in no time. Meanwhile, Zoshir, Tiberius, and Amira arrive in Hagaharg in the morning.
I had a quick question, Eric.
Yes.
Just for Eloise's own personal schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Would the timelines align if Eloise redirected Amira to the? Hold on, I'm gonna look at the map for the name. Oh, never mind, it's gone. The siege that she's investigating. Like, would the timelines align where they would arrive similarly when Eloise arrives?
Oh, to Tsympo-pons. Yes. Where the crash site or the
where we had to throw down. We had to throw down.
You can retcon that. That's fine.
Well, no, I wasn't retcon. I'm just curious if they would be arriving the same time, at least either before or near the time Eloise would
They would be arriving roughly around the same time. Yes.
Yeah, Eloise will absolutely make that call to Amira, and probably not relay it to Tiberius and Zoshir.
Listen, there are things happening here. You need to be here, all right? Would Zoshir or Tiberius object to this? Like, hey, we're going to Hagaharg. Nope, just kidding.
Well, Amira's like I just said, Amira's not going to tell them. She's just going to start flying that way.
Fuck. Fuck.
If Zoshir notices the flight direction change, he's going to.
Yeah. That if it gets noticed,
no,
if it gets noticed,
that way. It's that way. You're going the wrong way.
Roll stealth for Amira. Roll discipline for Zoshir.
This is very clearly duty.
Also, Tiberius can roll because he doesn't know where Hagaharg is actually, so he's just like, whatever, we're going to Sietch. It's in a rock somewhere.
Ambrose, what's your desert navigation thing do?
Oh, that's in understand. That's not in discipline.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit. So you got 2 stealth versus 1. So you've had a very long week, Zoshir. You and Hurdy and Nayla just kind of pass out on the flight over. Tiberius, you're just like, this place looks the same no matter which way you look. She's like, okay, we're going. It's not until you wake up that you realize you're nowhere near Hagaharg. You look out onto the shield wall, and you see there are Harkonnen thopters like already there, and Amira is about to land the ornithopter nearby.
Traitor.
What? You hear Hurdy in the back seat, like, whoa, what's happening? What?
I promise you that's not the case, Zoshir.
What else does it look like then?
Appearances can be deceiving, can they not? Didn't outmaneuver Fremen troops in the desert. Speaking of herself.
Inelia, for the first time since this entire trip has taken place, like, just kill her already. Take her water. Take back the Thopter and head back to Hagaharg. And you see, Hurdy's like, wait, no, what are you doing? No.
Doom your people, Zoshir. Those satellites will immediately go back in the sky if you kill me. Eloise will see to that.
Nalia like looks at you with these, this glance that could kill. It's just like, you would threaten us?
No.
With us at your back?
I'm telling you, you're in no danger here. This is not a trick. This is not a trap. Not for you, anyway.
He flies us into the mouth of Shai Hulud and says we are not at risk. Zoshir, make the call. If you trust this outframe, we land. If you don't, I will take her water now.
Amir will bear her throat.
Zoshir's going to just study Amira for a moment. Tell me why we're here.
We're here to punish the ones who killed your people.
Her water is hers. Hers alone.
Aye, and our water's ours, you see, Hurdy says.
Very well. Bring the bribe.
He'll turn to Nalia and Hurdy. If we have the chance to take down the Harkonnen, let's learn some house politics, shall we?
Oh, if it comes to that, Zoshir, I will happily bathe in Harkonnen blood with you all.
I get that earned a smile from Zoshir so very well. Down you go into the lion's den. The Harkonnens look up as you arrive. Elois, of course, is already here with Pardot Reed. Pardot, Elois, Alexei Gim is already here with his Harkonnens. They're picking apart the carcasses that are left, along with the other blackened chassis of the Harkonnen military ornithopters. They're looking for those black boxes. Just as they're doing so, this other ornithopter seems to be coming in. This woman with multicolored veils that obscure her almost completely lands the ornithopter nearby. It's full of dust. It's hard to see who's in the thopter with her or not. How do you all respond?
Eloise turns and just smiles at the Harkonnens in particular. Just smug, just like the epitome of smug self-satisfaction, like, oh, you're so fucked.
Alexei doesn't miss that. And he's like, what is this, your backup? Is this supposed to be a threat?
This is the evidence I've been waiting for, Alexei.
Evidence of what? Where is your Duchess? Is her carcass in there along with the other dead
If you
women and
call
Harkonnen
if you
troopers?
call her my Duchess again, I
Oh,
promise
my
you.
apologies. Your bloodkin.
Oh, Alexei, you Harkonnens are such simple creatures.
I'll ignore that for now. Marshal Reed. Shall we begin our investigation?
I believe we shall.
With or without the guild. Sir, we found something over here. You see one of the Harkonnen says, holding some large oblong thing over his head. Bring it to me, trooper. Let's have a look. We shift for a moment to Archibald, aboard the Highliner. Everything's going well. Yeva seems to be annoyed with this deal that you've established with the Atreides. She's not convinced that this was the right move to make. She takes off her gloves, throws them into the corner of your suite. Did you really just make a deal with Duke Leto Atreides to oppose the Emperor publicly with the other houses of the Landsraad? We don't even know how many houses are part of this coalition. He didn't impart that information on us. He didn't volunteer any of this. This could be a trap. This could sink us. Did you honestly think this through, General?
Yes, I did.
What does your keen mind discern?
So, tell me, would you rather okay. I do. I do think this is... Yes, we're spending a great risk. But on the other hand, we're also, if this goes through, it'll be very, very, very lucrative for us. And you know that. And on top of that, would you
How?
rather...
What do we get out of deposing the Emperor? You do know that Duke Leto is one of the more popular statesmen inside of the Landsraad. They practically fall over themselves because of him.
Oh, believe me, I know.
This is all self-interest on the part of the Atreides. The Baron was right. Never trust an empty hand.
But yet you want to trust the Baron?
The Baron already has power.
Really, now.
Leto seeks to acquire power. There's a difference. If they really are walking into a trap, then they're fools. They should have eliminated the Harkonnens first.
So tell me, Yeva, what's the perfect bait for the Harkonnens?
Just as you say that, all the lights on the Hayliner go out. And they start coming on one at a time. And you feel all of the Highlander stop. Yeva's like, what's happening? What's going on? And you hear over the PA, the guild, the Hayliner is under attack. And he's like, please stay inside of your suites. Guild security is handling the matter. You hear what sounds like gunfire, las gunfire out in the halls, and people are screaming. It appears that the Hayliner has been hijacked by pirates.
Oh,
And that's where we'll stop.
hell yeah. This is going to be cool. Sorry. Oh, no, not good. Archibald, no. Oh.
All right, that is all the time that we have for this session. I hope everyone here and those watching enjoyed the show. We'll continue our adventures into the Imperium next Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's introduce our lovely cast, beginning with Aaron. Let them know who you are, who you played this evening, and where else they can find you.
Hello, everyone. I am still Aaron. You can find me from whichever as Great Tulu. I again played Eloise tonight, and oh boy, am I gambling real fucking hard now. Next place you can find me is tomorrow over at my friend Montanoc's stream. We'll be doing a big birthday collab for him. Playing the new version of Jackbox. Gonna be a good, drunken, hilarious time. After that, I think Thursday on my lovely partner Andrea LaFay's channel playing Grounded. And then Friday back here.
Nice. Devin.
Hello and goodbye, everyone. I am Devin. I am online at Sort of Sullied, and I have been I guess, not Bene Gesserit's sister, Norma.
Ambrose.
Hey everybody, I've enjoyed playing Zoshir Tamir for you. You can find me all over the internet as Sam Changeling and on Etsy at Thornkind, where I sell really, really gay stuff. But anyway, God, I'm looking forward to Pirate King Archibald. But also,
I honestly, it was just like, what if Archibald was had a total John McClane Die Hard situation? I'm like, yep, I'm running that in. Okay.
Nice.
And
He's
the
a
way that
pirate-
Yeva's talking, there may be an accident or two.
oh god,
Man.
he's the Pirate King in my eyes. And also, hello from Yam.
What about Luffy?
Aww. Key.
Hello, I am Kisama. I have been Pardot Reed and Tiberius. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama as long as I don't find you first, and behind a Denny's near you.
Excellent. Leo.
Hello, my name is Jared, and you can find me on Twitch at Leo the Black. And yeah, today I played Archibald, General Archibald, that made a deal with the Atreides. To be honest with you, I don't even know if it was a good idea for me, but we'll see where this goes. You've kind of derailed some of my plans there, Eric. I'm going to be honest with you. I should stop telling you my plans.
Hey, what? How do you know I didn't already have this already planned out?
Because I think you kind of like turned the nice meter up on Leto, because in the book he's not nearly as nice.
Maybe there's a reason why he's so nice.
Maybe.
Last but not least, of course, Rachel.
Hello, I am Rachel. I am Stolen Fires, elsewhere on the internet, on social networks, currently extant, and those yet to be. Who knows? But we will be here. We are persistent. We are forever. You will be able to see us back here on Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be running Dragon Age, and then possibly after that, there's a little bit of a casting snafu, but fingers crossed we will be able to run Curse of Strahd. If not, I will be back here on Wednesday, where I am going to begin my stream of Dragon Age 2. I will be importing the save generated during all the previous streams, so Dalish Elf Warden, Logain's a Warden, it's gonna be great. Yeah, and then I will see you back here next week. Follow my Twitter for now for more updates. Oh yes, on the 15th, we just got this scheduled. Tom Moore is going to be running an Evil Hat game. It is called Girl by Moonlight. It is a super queer magical girl anime-inspired adventure. Ambrose will be there, and a couple other channel favorites, and new people will also be there. So stay tuned for more on that.
Thank you. And I've been Eric at Modern Recluse Online. You can find me back here on Friday nights, of course, at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very special thanks to Rachel, and big thanks as always to our viewers and fans for tuning in. As always, never sit with your back to the wall. Always remember your shield emitter, and be careful who you trust. For in the game of houses, nothing is truly as it seems. Good night, everybody.